How does resistance operate within power dynamics? Imagine a society where some people hold all the control, but others find ways to push back. That pushback is what we call resistance, and it plays a big role in how power works. In cultural and political anthropology, resistance means how individuals or groups oppose or challenge the authority that shapes their lives. Power dynamics are about how control, influence, and authority are shared or kept within a society. These dynamics influence laws, social norms, and everyday interactions. Resistance isn't just loud protests or revolutions. It includes small, everyday acts that challenge authority. For example, gossiping about leaders, pretending not to hear orders, or working slowly are all ways people subtly push against control. These acts are called infrapolitics, meaning quiet resistance that often flies under the radar. Anthropologists also talk about public and hidden transcripts. Public transcripts are the official, visible ways people show respect or obedience to those in power. Hidden transcripts are the private, covert ways people express disagreement or mock authority. For example, in some cultures, jokes or stories that criticize leaders are shared secretly, even if outwardly everyone seems compliant. These hidden acts can last 4 years and gradually weaken the legitimacy of those in power. Resistance is shaped by culture. In some societies, rituals or festivals let people temporarily reverse social roles, giving them a safe space to express discontent. These acts act as a safety valve, easing tensions without threatening the social order. Resistance also ties into identity. People may resist because of their race, gender, or religion, creating new cultural forms or reclaiming traditions as acts of defiance. For example, marginalized groups often use cultural expressions like music, dance, or clothing to challenge dominant narratives. Power is never fixed. It is always being negotiated through acts of resistance. Small actions over time can lead to big changes. The civil rights movement in the United States, for instance, built on generations of quiet resistance before erupting into mass protests that transformed the nation's power structures. Studying resistance means paying attention to both visible protests and subtle everyday acts. It involves understanding how culture, language, and daily routines are used to push back against control. This shows that power is never absolute and always faces some form of opposition, even if it's not immediately obvious. Resistance helps explain why some societies change quickly and others stay the same despite underlying tensions. It also highlights how groups with little formal power can still influence society through their actions. For anthropologists, listening to the voices of those on the margins reveals how power can be challenged from within. In the end, resistance within power dynamics is a constant dance. It includes loud protests and quiet acts, organized movements, and everyday challenges. Both types of resistance work together to shape how societies evolve and how power is maintained or shifted. This ongoing process shows that even the smallest acts of opposition can have a lasting impact on social and political change.